Hello and welcome to your favorite cloud learning channel, Cloud Expert Solutions, and welcome back to AWS Certified Solution Architect Associate Certification Bootcamp. In this module, we'll explore AWS Transfer Family. If you have ever dealt with traditional file transfer protocols like SFTP, FTP, or FTPS, then you might know managing these servers can be a headache. AWS Transfer Family solves this for you. Now let's review the roadmap for today's session. We'll start by defining the specific problem the service addresses. We'll then get an overview of the supported protocols like SFTP, FTPS, and FTP. We'll cover key architectural features. We'll look at common use cases and then wrap up with a summary of the key takeaways you will need for your certification exam. On behalf of the Cloud Expert Solutions team, I would like to thank you for joining this bootcamp. Let's get started. The main problem AWS Transfer Family solves is eliminating the pain of managing your own file transfer infrastructure. Before this service, if you need to exchange files via SFTP with a third-party vendor, you need to provision an EC2 instance, install an SFTP server, manage SSH key, handle patching, and scale it yourself. It was a lot of overhead. The Transfer Family provides a fully managed, highly available service that just works for you. It acts as the bridge for partners who only use standard file protocol, allowing them to deposit files directly into your secure S3 bucket without you to manage the underlying server infrastructures. In terms of benefits, AWS Transfer Family offers a secure, managed service that meets compliance requirements like HIPAA, PCI DSS with encryption at rest and in transit. It also automatically connects with Amazon S3 and Amazon EFS without any complex integration. Now let's review AWS Transfer Family as a service. AWS Transfer Family is a fully managed, highly available service for a business-to-business file transfer. It supports three primary file transfer protocols. First, SFTP, which is built on SSH, and this is the most common and secure choice. The old and plain FTP, this is unencrypted and generally not recommended when you have sensitive data to transfer. And FTPS, which is new and which is FTP over SSL or TLS for encryption. You configure a highly available endpoint that speaks one of the standard file transfer protocol, and behind the scene, the service automatically translates these commands into S3 API calls or EFS operations. You have flexible authentication options and you can use either existing IAM roles, or you can integrate with your Active Directory or LDAP, or even you can use custom identity provider via API gateway. All the data you are going to store will be encrypted at rest using AWS KMS and encryption in transit using SSL or TLS. You will get full visibility and logging via CloudWatch and CloudTrail. It's a robust serverless architecture for file transfer. Now let's review one architecture diagram at its scale. Here is an AWS Transfer Family fully blown architecture. This is not just simple or one or two components. And now let's understand all these components one by one. To start with the middle portion, here you have AWS Transfer Family. You can either configure for SFTP or FTPS or FTP based on your requirement, and the data it will be backed either to Amazon S3 or to Amazon EFS. Now in terms of authentication option, here you have your SMTP client. You can either use username and SSH key, or you can use username and password. Now let's review both the options. When you are deploying AWS Transfer Family, you should deploy securely. That is why here we have VPC endpoint, and the VPC endpoint will be enclosed with a security group. This security group will provide all those access control, and you can expose with an elastic network interface or ENI. Then all your SFTP client will be able to access securely, and let's assume they are using username and SSH key. Using that SSH key, they will be able to directly authenticate themselves and they will be able to upload their file using AWS Transfer Family, and your file can land to Amazon S3 or Amazon EFS based on your requirement. You can also use username and password, and you have multiple options as we discussed. You can use either Active Directory, you can use IAM, or you can also use custom identity provider. When user will enter username and password, the AWS Transfer Family, it will pass that authentication control via API gateway. You can also configure a Lambda function. Either you can use Amazon Cognito as an authenticator provider, or if you want to use Active Directory, you can also integrate using that. From this diagram, you can see you have multiple options for authentication and how you can securely expose that AWS Transfer Family to your SFTP client. If your client is a third-party provider, then also you can share the file transfer endpoint with that without exposing your data to public internet. Now let's review AWS Transfer Family use cases. The primary use case is business-to-business data exchange. If a trading partner requires you to provide or accept files over a secure SFTP connection, this service will manage that connectivity entirely for you. It's fantastic for data lake ingestion. It acts as simple, secure mechanism for getting data into S3, where it can be processed by other services like AWS Glue or Lambda. As an example, you are working on a justice and public safety department and you are getting data from different organizations. Then they can send those criminal files or the arrest files to you via AWS Transfer Family, and it can store to your S3 data lake. It also allows you to migrate legacy file transfer workflows into cloud without requiring your partners to change their client software and minimizing disruption. Because if they used to send file using SFTP, AWS Transfer Family will also support SFTP and they don't have to change any implementation or the client they use to transfer that file or upload that file. Now we came near conclusion for this module, and here is a quick summary of what we learned in this module and what you should remember for the certification exam. The AWS Transfer Family is a fully managed service that frees you from the burden of managing file transfer services. Remember that it is serverless, offering high availability and automatic scaling without any effort on infrastructure from your part. Data is stored either in S3 or EFS. You should remember the protocols it supports: SFTP, FTPS, and plain old FTP. The exam might test you on the authentication options. So remember, you have the flexibility with IAM, Active Directory, or custom providers. If you see a question about secure B2B file transfer without server management, then AWS Transfer Family is likely the answer for that question. That wraps up this module. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more AWS exam preparation courses and cloud certification bootcamps. Got questions or feedback? Drop them in the comment. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for learning with us at Cloud Expert Solutions. You are now one step closer to crushing your exam. See you in the next module.